Saturday on our Homestead farm, Brendan, the garden answer man at Homestead Food Gardens. We're planting my favorite zucchini today. Desert F1 zucchini organic from High Mowing Seeds. And this started it all, the wood chip revolution going, because this accidentally fell in a wood chip pathway we had and grew better than the zucchini that I had planted in a well-watered, well-fertilized row. So we'll be planting these today, but first we're prepping the ground. So last week we put down compost and a little bit of wood chip on top. We didn't have much left, we're only about 8 inches. We put an underlay of paper, but it was only 8 inches, we're not a foot. So today, you can't plant, so I've exposed, you can't plant in the wood chips until it's really broken down after about a year. And you can't plant in compost, it's just not complete. So I went out and I bought some garden soil, topsoil. I'm gonna put some here, just so there's some decent soil. And you can even mix it in a little bit with the compost, but you can't plant in straight, you shouldn't plant in straight compost. I'm sure there's exceptions, but it's not the rule. I'm gonna put just a little bit of espoma, lime down, helps with a lot of stuff, calcium and sweetening the soil and adjusting the pH. And I'm using espoma organic fertilizer too. Well, here's the moment of truth. So it's what, June 4th today in North Carolina, and I always plant extra seeds because if they don't come up, you lost time. So I'm going to plant in this hole here. I'm going to plant, I'd like to have at least 2 successful zucchini plants, so I'm going to plant like 4. They go about 1 inch down. I just put everything I plant grows well, so put my finger in the soil about 1 inch, and I'm going to put 2 per hole. And just like the corn, I planted double in there. I want 3 corn there, and so far 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 have come up. So these are going to be planted here today in our mix of compost and garden soil. And this is marked. Always mark everything. And I hope to see these up in about, I don't know, I forget how long they take to get up. In about a week probably. And if you've grown zucchini, you know you grow so many of them, you can't give them away. There's so many. So we're gonna have 3 over here. I might put some more in the 3 sisters plot over here with the vining beans as well. So I'm trying to space things apart, and that's what we're working on today. All right. And we're filling in spots that didn't work. My rule in the garden is if something doesn't want to grow, then forget about it. I don't beg it. Actually, it wasn't the fault. 1 row of tomatoes, actually 2, was struggling. We found out why when we went to dig in the hole. We didn't put enough soil in the hole, in the furrow, and it was just growing straight in fresh or not so composed wood chips, which made them struggle. So I pulled a few potato plants out and there were holes. So I've got all of these seedlings going here, and we're gonna put in, we have heirloom tomatoes, we put in some Prudence Purple, we put in Brandywine, and now the last batch we have here is Burpee's Big Boy. I don't think that's an heirloom, but the other ones are. And we had these holes. Here are the holes. So I'm not gonna leave a hole open for the summer. So we're gonna plant a few tomatoes that we had growing in the pots. So tomatoes are doing well over there, and we're gonna plant. So I'm gonna show you how to plant. First of all, I wanna show you this silly nose guard. I don't sell these, I don't make any money on them, but my father was from Ireland and he was as white as a piece of paper. In fact, the doctors thought he had a skin disease, but that was just his natural color. And I'm not quite as fair, but he wound up getting skin cancer and had to have it cut off. I don't want to get that. The tip of my nose and the back of my neck get burned, so I don't care how I look like. This is a good protection. It clips onto your glasses. So here we are with the Burpee Big Boy, and they're pretty root bound. So look at these roots swirling and swirling and swirling. You can't plant it like that. So you gotta free them up a little bit. And tomatoes are just about the only plant that I know, there's probably others, that like to be planted deep. So I'm gonna plant these guys deep, but you can't plant in the wood chip. So I've got some potting soil to put in here. I'm gonna make the hole good. There's a saying in the industry, $5 plant, $50 hole. So we're ameliorating this hole, and I'm gonna put a little bit of organic garden lime in there. I mean, this is not ideal. We're kind of like, we're fast forwarding this and kick-starting this year. You know, really what we could have done is just waited till next year for the wood chips to break down, but I didn't want to wait. Everything's growing pretty well using the furrowing system. So that was just holly tone. Better to use is tomato tone, but I don't have any. But you need to put some kind of nitrogen in there, because if there's any source of wood chips touching anything, the wood chips are going to just rob the soil of the microbes. The microbes are going to all colonize around the wood chips, and they're going to forget about your plants and they forget about the soil. So we have to put a little nitrogen in there to ameliorate a little bit. So basically just put this in here, and I'm going to put a combination of really good garden compost and garden soil, not potting soil, garden soil, because you have to have a little bit of garden soil. So I planted into the garden soil. Now I'm mixing in some really aged compost with the rest of my amendments here. And I'm going to just finish it up with the compost mainly and the chips. It's got enough soil around it to grow. And we'll just put a little more nitrogen on the top here. Mix it in really good. And then cover it up. So again, this is just a cheat. Normally we would wait for these wood chips to be broken down to almost soil consistency before we plant. But we're filling in holes today. This is Saturday on our homestead farm. God bless.